Welcome to the Kickstart Your Edge Play to Win Leadership Podcast,
where we've flipped the script with our groundbreaking modus operandi to bring you real, relevant, and relatable tactics and techniques to master your own play to win mindset.
Talk about a superpower. It's time to iron your cape.
What we know for sure is what got you here won't get you there.
You can't see the spinach in your own teeth.
And finally, hang on, because this one is really deep. Once you realize that you are the traffic, everything makes complete and unadulterated sense.
Welcome to the Edge, where playing not to lose is not an option.
And we're off. So what we're going to talk about today are 3 insanely important questions that every leader needs to know the answer to. And they're the questions that are either going to make or what, Jen?
Break.
Correct. Good. You got the answer right. Yes, they're going to make or break you as a leader. And those 3 questions are, what'd you know? When'd you know it? What'd you do about it?
What is so funny?
What's so funny is that you're mouthing the questions as I'm actually asking the question. I feel like you're trying to be a mirror to my questions, and it's a little distracting.
I love it. Now you all see the behind the scenes. We actually have our topic, and I did know those 3 questions. So yes, I was saying them in silence with Karen, but let's repeat them, and I won't say them. You say them, Karen.
All right. So the questions are, what'd you know? When'd you know it? What'd you do about it? And essentially, Jen, it's know, when, act. You need to have those 3 things. And as you know, coming from a law enforcement background, those were 3 key questions that truthfully could really make or break you. These are also it has to do with accountability, and it also has to do with covering your ass. And if you can answer those 3 questions, you're going to be golden as a leader when challenges arrive. It's just really important.
I agree. And I love that you tie it into accountability. So could be how do you create a more accountable culture is for people to think through those questions, whether it comes to a deadline, something that you promised somebody, something that's going awry, risk mitigation. And it also gets to like some of the bigger things about what's happening within an organization, maybe from an ethical perspective or a employee challenge perspective, those kinds of things. And it's just really ties into how do you take self-responsibility for sharing the right information that's going to help everybody move forward.
One thing that you said that's really important, Jen, is that with this, the things like if you address the little things, then you don't have to worry about the big things, because the small things that you just think are small create a culture of being able to have the conversations around, hey, you know what? I just completely dropped the ball on that. And instead of trying to cover it up, you get to tell somebody that is above you in the food chain or chain of command, whatever that is. And essentially, you get rid of the hot potato by being able to share that information.
No, it's so true, right? Because then you can also get different insight. What could we do? What's possible? What do we need to think about? Who else should we tell? How does this impact things? How can I help you? How could you help me? Those kinds of things to be able to have those conversations. And again, it really does range from everything. If I have a deadline and I know I'm not going to hit it, it's better to be upfront as early as possible so that people can do contingency plans for the big things as well. And I will say, Kara, since I've known you, which has been quite a while now, those 3 questions come up again and again and again when we deal with different teams, different leaders, different situations, and even in our own life of being able to manage things.
Yeah, this is a question that I find myself asking a lot of the, whether it's a CEO, senior leadership team people that I do coach. You know, when there is a challenge, it's the what'd you know, when'd you know it, what'd you do about it, and that last question, the what'd you do about it, is is really the question that can make or break you.
And I think that that last question, what'd you do about it? If the answer is nothing,
You're screwed.
well, yes, yes. And you have to ask yourself why, right? You will learn so much based on the answer you give yourself. So if what'd you do about it is nothing, and you ask the question why, is I didn't want to get involved. I didn't want to cause waves. I didn't want to let people know. I didn't know what to do. There's so many different answers that can come up for that. Ask yourself that question though, so that you can figure out how to not have that be the answer the next time.
Yeah, if you're going to bed at night still thinking about it, then you know that you need to do something. And like I said, if you do nothing, you're quite frankly, you're screwed. But often what happens is people think that they're betraying somebody's trust if they actually do something or report something or say something that might sound a little sketchy. But time and time again, we've seen, and again, in law enforcement as well as what the work that we do now, it's not the the part of the what you do about it. When you do something about it, when you share, when you tell somebody what potentially happened or might happen, you do pass along that proverbial football. But if you don't do anything and you're thinking about, okay, I'm going to be loyal, that's the time that something is going to bite you in the ass. And if you don't say anything, what tends to happen is you tend to lie about it, which will jack you up even more. You tend to cover things up, which will jack you up even more, rather than just telling somebody. And the great part about that is there's always someone above you that you can tell. So individual contributors, great. They tell their directors. Directors, great. They tell their next level leadership, all the way up to the CEO. And you know, if it needs to go that far. And then obviously the CEO, it doesn't stop there. The CEOs have boards to report to. So there's always somebody to pass that proverbial football to.
Yeah, and it's calling in the troops to be able to figure out how to problem solve and what is the direction, right? So it's not about just passing it off, but it's partnering with to figure out what's our solution. And again, this concept really can range from many different types of topics. And so I love the questions, right? So is there somewhere in your life that you need to be asking yourself, what are the three questions, Karen?
What'd you know? When'd you know it? What'd you do about it?
And I looked at her with very, very non moving lips on that one. So, anyway, food for thought, things to think about. And that's your accountability tip of the day.
Know, when, act. Bye.
Thanks for listening to the Kickstart Your Edge Play to Win Leadership Podcast.
Craving more? Of course you are.
Check out our website at kickstartyouredge.com,
where we fire you up, fan the flames of your competitive edge culture, and ignite your tenacious pursuit of an all-out play-to-win mindset.